Hi everybody, it's Debbie here. Welcome back to my Crafty Den. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you stopping by, and if you are a regular viewer, then thanks for coming back. I really hope you enjoy this one. So today I am making these paper ornaments. I made the big rosette ones in my last video, I believe, in this series. And I'm loving working on the paper ornaments, so I decided to make this one. Now I have made various different options of this ornament over the years. I've done the huge big version for a wreath. I've done teeny tiny little versions, which I can't do anymore because it's too hard for me to roll the paper much smaller than this, but I'm really loving this version. These are about, let me see how wide they are. So these are about from tip to tip all the way across 5.5 inches. So a nice substantial ornament if you need a big tree. And they're simple. They're very simple. Now you can make these a little more complicated if you want to, and I'll talk about that while I'm doing it, but I do love this simple version. So let me show you how I do that. First off, I am going to take my paper cutter, and I'm going to use this color today. I haven't got hardly anything in a green or greenish blue. I'm loving this kind of, I don't know, not even sure. It's like a vintage blue. But what you need are 2-inch squares. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to cut 1 strip, and I'm going to cut 2 strips, and 2 strips is all I've ever needed. So it could vary depending on how tightly you roll and fold and what have you. But yeah, 2 strips of this paper. And then in a contrasting paper, I'm going to do this because it matches, but it's still contrasting. It's a matching paper. I am going to cut a 1-inch. Where's my 1-inch? Right there. 1 inch. This gets, on here, this gets, it's hard to do it because it's right underneath here. So I get it marked at one edge, and then I have to hold this down as tight as I can so that my paper doesn't slide around, and I am just going to cut a 1-inch strip. And a 1-inch strip is all that we need. So first off, I'm going to do what I did with the rosettes. I am just going to take my little crimper here, and you don't have to have a crimper. You can do this by hand. This just makes it easier for me. So I'm just going to roll this. I'm going to roll it through one way, and then I'm just going to roll it back and let it give them a little crimp. And you can see what this does. It actually makes it doesn't do much. It just does that, but it makes this part here so easy. And that is a rosette maker from EK Tools, and I got it off of Amazon. I should start an Amazon store and just put the things that I really liked in it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to straighten this up and squeeze it really tight to get those in there. Nice and tight. I need them. And then I am going to join this around. With that crimper, it works out perfectly to give myself, I don't have to cut one off if I can get it right on the lines when I fold it. I'm just going to take a bit of hot glue to fix that end down and make my nice little circle. And then I'm going to take just a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to cut a little circle out of it. if I had my little 1-inch punch, I would just do that. This doesn't need to be very big, and it doesn't need to be very precise because it's not going to show. And I'm just going to put some hot glue right on here, enough to really grab this. And I'm going to push this down in the center, like this, right onto that little piece. I think I just hit my camera with my head. There, just like that. Now, I'm not going to make a bunch of these because I'm not layering these, but I want to find a center for this. I used a button on the other one. What have I got here? I used a little brown button on the other one because it went with the red so well. But let me see if I have a different button. I have all kinds of buttons. Hold on one sec. So just going to grab this big, see, I have a nice big vintage, this is the old Imperial Crown jar, but I have some buttons in here. These are not store-bought buttons. They're just buttons because I don't throw anything away, and I've had these for years and years. And I'm going to dump some out here and see if I can find something that I really like for the center of this. So I have this. This is a really old, it's a vintage button, but it kind of looks like a piece of shell, or like the inside of a clam shell or something. It could be mother of pearl. Who knows? It's actually got some flaws in it, but it's an old button. And I think, sorry for that clank, but this has a glass lid on it. So I am going to put a nice little dab of hot glue right into the center of this so that it overflows a little bit. Then I'm going to set this button with the holes right there, and those holes, that the glue will come right up through those holes and hold that button on. Got to set it there for a minute. Let that glue set up. And I'm going to put a little bit more glue just on the top. My hand shakes when I try to squeeze this glue gun right there on the top, and let it soak down through those holes a little bit. And I'm going to take, I think in this case, what am I going to put on here? I might need that for a little bit. Oh, I do love that pearl though, in the middle of the other pearl. But I'm going to take this, and I am going to put it down in the center of that just for a little tiny bit of bling. So I'm going to put that right on there, and I'm going to set it right in there and let it fall down. Where's my little thing? Right there. And let it fall down right into the center of that button. And then I'm going to put the whole thing on here, and I'm going to hold it down. I've burnt myself on this glue too many times not to put this on here for when I do that. So then that's going to be the centerpiece of my ornament. So I'm going to let that dry and set up. I might need a little more glue right there in the center, I think. I think a lot of it fell down into the center of that. There, that'll hold it. So I'm going to let that set up just like that. Yeah, it's holding it now. So I'm going to let that set up, and I am going to take these two 2-inch strips, and while that's setting up, I'm going to cut these. I could have done this before, but of course I didn't. I am going to cut these into 2-inch squares. So I'm going to even up my ends, and I'm going to put them in here to the 2-inch mark. Push my glue gun up here out of the way. And I'm going to just take these, and I will end up with a dozen 2-inch squares. there. And they don't have to be, I mean, I'm getting them as perfect as I can get them. But this project is a little bit forgiving. If one piece is a hair smaller than another piece, you're not going to be able to tell. There. So I have my 12 2-inch pieces. Put that away. And then I'm going to take them and I'm going to put this on. If anybody wants to wear these little finger protectors like I do, and they realize that this is really, really tight. Like if I put this on my finger so that I can actually use it, it's so tight on that knuckle that it hurts. So I stopped wearing them. So I just took my scissors and cut a little slit, and it still stays on. So I'm going to use my glue gun because I want this to go quick. And I'm going to take all 12 of these pieces, and I am going to fold this over like this, just so that it's just past the halfway mark to that point. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this piece and folding it over down to this point like that. And I'm not creasing this like with a bone folder or anything. This is going to be rounded out when I'm done. I'm just trying to get these so that these two pieces here match up. And then I'll just pop that back out again. It's just easier if you give that a little crease. So I'm going to put a tiny little dab of glue on this corner right here. Right there, like that. I'm going to take this and lay it over, and I'm going to hold it from the back like that. All I'm doing is trying to make sure that these two sides line up right here, possibly as straight as can be. And I'm going to make these little cones just like this. Just like this. So I am going to do that 12 times. So I'm going to take this piece. Now, you don't have to crease it if you can do it without creasing it. I just find that sometimes the paper's stiff and I have to crease it. So you're going to take that piece and bend it over, and this piece and bend it over, just like that. Put a little bit of hot glue right there, just a dot, and then put that over that and hold it just like that, and just hold it. So I'm going to do that 10 more times. Okay, I have all my little cones made, or petals, or whatever we want to call them. My glue gun is dripping on my centerpiece that I made. So I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to show you how I do it. You could just use a circle of cardboard, or you could use a circle of paper, or, I mean, whatever you want to use. But what I do is I try to find the center of this. I'll show you. This is from the Dollar Tree, just the lids. And I have this little piece of paper that I've cut when I did the last one. And I cut it out to fit the size of this. Then I folded it in half and in half, and I poked a teeny tiny little hole right in the center. So now to find the center of this, all I'm going to do is put this down on top of this. I'm going to take my marker, press it down over top of that hole, and there's my center. So I've got my center spot because I need to know where my center spot is. And I'm going to take my hot glue, and I'm going to add these. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some hot glue right at the center. Then I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to go around like half of this. Make sure I get enough there. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to put one down so that the point is right on that center spot. And then I'm just going to start putting these down, going around. Just like this. Try to get them so that these, whoa, have to take that off. Try to get them so that these are flat on the back, so the point is centered, and just do that all the way around. So, but you have to try to kind of do this in a hurry before your glue hardens. It's not hard for me to do it. My glue gun's way too hot anyway. So I've got those ones. I'm going to add some more glue here, just a little bit more there. And I'm going to keep going just like this. And now my glue's not setting up, so I can still move these around a little wee bit. Let's get the rest of this done. And maybe one more. Maybe two more. It depends, like it's never the same. So I'm going to try to squeeze these together a little bit. Just shove them together. So that's what I have. And on the back, it looks like, whoop, that's not dry enough to pick up yet. But on the back, that's what it looks like. So I'm going to let this set up in this glue. I'm just going to push this down in the center. And I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to run it around the edge like this, pushing down on these to get them to set into that glue really good. So this is fast. Once you've got all your little pieces prepped, this is fast to make. So I have that. And I have this centerpiece that I want to put in there. Now I'm thinking I want something else in the center. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to take my 2.5 inch paper punch, and I'm going to punch out a circle. It doesn't matter what color it is because I'm going to use the white side. Let's get this off of here. And so let's set that there. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm just going to, I want to do this all around the edge. I just want it to just look like I can tore a circle out almost. Like that. And I think it needs something. So I'm going to get a blender and I'm going to get something to edge this with. So what I'm going to use is this Forever in Time ink stamp pad. I got it at Dollarama and it's not very good quality, but it puts enough on that I can go like this, and then this isn't white, it'll actually be a little bit gold around the edges. So I'm going to do this on these rough edges. And I might rough them up even a little bit more because I just want it to look, or maybe not, it might be okay. I'm going to get rid of that, and I am going to just around this edge here. There. Now this is going to go behind here, and then that'll go. So it's only going to show a little wee bit, but it's going to edge that, and it'll make it just look that much better. So I'm going to put a little glue on here, and then I'm going to center this right on like that. Then I'm going to put some hot glue on the back of this, and I'm going to go around as close to the outside edge as I can, because this isn't going to touch in the center because the other is just a little bit raised. This glue is so hot at this point that it is boiling. So I'm going to set that right down in there and give it a push, and it's not going to go all the way down, but it's going to set in there pretty good. And there was one thing that I forgot to do, so I'm going to have to do that. I had this string sitting right here. I am going to tie a knot in this. I should have put it on before that centerpiece. Yeah, sometimes you just get ahead of yourself, don't you? There. So I've tied that knot as close to the end there as I can get it, and I'm going to snip that. Then I am going to put this right down in one of these spots here. So my knot's coming undone. It's not tight enough. So I'm going to tie a knot. I'll do it this way. It's easier to do this before you put that centerpiece on, because you can put it down right in the center and then just pull it through between these, because these aren't really glued together. So I am going to put a little bit of hot glue on this, just a little bit right there on that dot. And then I am going to I'm just going to take the end of this pencil and shove it right down in there, because that's the best place for it. Shove it right in there. And that should be fine once that glue dries. So there you have it. That is this ornament. Once I get a little bit of glue cleaned up here. So let me put the lid on this and set this aside. So I have this one, which I love this one. And the reason I'm using my paper this way is because I like the fact that there's this center flower right here. And when this is on the tree, this white in the background is going to make this center flower pop out when it's hanging on the tree. So there's this one. And this one right here. I can take that off now. So that one and that one, and I think I'm going to make a few more of these just because I think these are really pretty. So that the center of this one, by the way, is a flat back pearl in the center of a brown button that had a recessed area in the center, and it just happened that pearl fit right into the center. So I like that. I do like the little bit of sparkle that shines off that there. I think that's gorgeous. I love the metallics in this one too. That'll shine pretty on a tree. And I will make some more of these. So you could make these with glitter paper. If you had some glitter scrapbooking paper, that would look absolutely gorgeous. And if you have double-sided paper, and you want to put so that you have one side showing here and the other side showing here, that would be great too. The other thing you could do is you could put fabric flowers in the centers here. There's all kinds of things that you could put in here. Now I have a little medallion that was left over in my box that I made from last year. And so you could even add your little, little tags with words on them and things like that. And just under, that would just come out from under the button, say. So I might go back and do that. And I might take this and use this as the center and make a third one. So yeah. So that's it. I really hope you liked it, everybody. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to try to make these super simple and super cheap to do. If all you wanted to do was make paper decorations for your Christmas tree, these rosettes and these little flowers would look absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I will be coming back with, I think I've got 2 more ornaments to do after this, and I will be coming back with 1 more tabletop ornament and 1 more paper decoration. So yeah, if you don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can find my channel again and see what the last 2 ornaments are going to be. So thanks for joining me for this series. I'm really happy to have you all here. Bye-bye for now, and have a great day.